Hello and welcome to the second episode of the Sam Hossack Media Podcast. We will get to our guest on today's episode shortly, but first I would like to talk about a tragedy that could easily be avoided. At 6:08 p.m., January 17th, the Aurelia Communications Center of the Ontario Provincial Police received a 911 call from a Robbins Point Road, Victoria Harbour resident after hearing a call for help from the waters of Sturgeon Bay. On Sunday, OPP officers, along with members of the Tay Township Fire Service and Simcoe County Paramedic Services, attended an area north of the intersection of Robbins Point Road and Osborne Street in Victoria Harbour. Officers were able to locate some clothing at the scene, and later in the evening, investigators were in receipt of a missing persons report of two overdue snowmobilers from the Aurelia area. Unfortunately, as a result, a childhood friend of mine, Donnie Bremner, and his father, Gerald, were found by the OPP Underwater Search and Rescue Team shortly after 11 a.m. on Monday. Members of the Southern Georgia Bay OPP want to remind all persons who do venture outdoors that area ice surfaces may be snow-covered and appear safe to travel on. Unfortunately, locally, we have not had the kind of weather required for the formation of ice required for winter activities, so if ice travel is necessary, please check with local residents and fish hut operators before heading out on any ice surfaces before you go. With that being said, I would like to extend my prayers to the Bremner family, and this episode is for you, Donnie. And now, without further ado, I would like to welcome today's guest to the podcast. He is a former under-18 Midget AAA legend who tore up Midget AAA with the Central Ontario Wolves, has become a superstar in the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League over the past 3 seasons, and played with Alexis Lafreniere. Not a big deal. Please welcome to the Sam Hossack Media Podcast, Creed Jones.
Hello. Glad to be on. That was quite the intro. I don't know how to follow that up.
Absolutely, and we'll keep things going here. We'll start off with your days with the Central Ontario Wolves. Take us back to your midget days and how exciting it was to play in Port Perry.
Yeah. I don't know. That was just a good year. We had kind of a ragtag bunch of guys, like guys from all over Whitby, Clarington, Peterborough, the Lindsay area, everywhere. And a lot of guys from a lot of really bad minor midget teams. So it was an interesting dynamic as soon as I got there that I noticed in the room for sure. We had just everybody liked being around everybody. We didn't have any guys in the team that was like, oh, I'm not going to hang out with that guy outside of the rink. It was just, we just gelled the whole team instantly, and you could see on the ice because we had a bunch of guys that never won anything before, and then we started winning games and kind of surprised us too, honestly.
Absolutely. And that season, you guys finished 19-8-4 for second place in the division. So how exciting was it to go to the rink every day when you're winning like that?
It was awesome. We had I had a couple bad seasons previous with the Peterborough teams that I was playing on. I wasn't playing well. The team wasn't too hot. No fault of anyone's, but it was just nice to get a change of scenery. Bricks, I still talk to Bricks every day. Brad Bricknell, favorite coach I've ever had. That guy would do anything for us, and he did do a lot for us, and he's who all that was owed to that whole year. So
absolutely. And like you mentioned there, you're from Peterborough, Ontario. So going from Peterborough to Central Ontario, there's that rivalry in the Eastern AAA Hockey League. So was it a hard decision or an easy one to go from Peterborough to Central Ontario?
Like I said, it was just kind of just a change of scenery thing. I actually didn't win a game in my minor midget year. I was like 0-22 or something. Just bad. So the following season, I was just like, you know what? I don't know what's going to come of it. I don't know, like, what my the path is going to be, like major, junior, NCAA. I had no clue at that time. So I just wanted to have some fun. And my best buddy, James White, and Patrick Gone, another guy from my minor midget team, all from Peterborough, we decided to kind of get a carpool thing going and play for that team that year. And I'm really glad I did.
And how did the season end for you guys that year?
We lost in playoffs to Markham, I think, in 5 games, 3 games, whatever it was. It was a hard series. I remember it. a lot of good players in that. A lot of guys that graduated to go on to Junior A and NCAA and Major Junior. So it was good. It was really good hockey. It wasn't what Major Midget hockey before that was kind of frowned upon by a lot of people. It was like, the burial ground for guys' careers, but it's not anymore. And I saw that firsthand. So.
Now, with the success you had that year, you were drafted first round, 6th overall by the Ottawa 67s in the midget draft. Did you attend camp for the 67s that year, and how did that process work for you?
I did, yeah. So I went to their development camp in the spring, right after the draft, and I was there for my 48 hours, just so I didn't break any NCAA rules or whatever it may be. And then I did not have a very strong camp, and they signed Cedric Andre at the end of that camp instead of me, the same age. So, and he's doing really, really well for them right now. So they made the right choice in that way. But I mean, everything happens for a reason, I believe. My mom always tells me that, and I never used to believe it, but now I do. So I would not be here if I'd signed a contract with them. I know that. So I'm kind of glad it worked out the way it did.
Absolutely. And the next season, you started with the Wellington Dukes of the Ontario Junior Hockey League, and then went to the Q, which we'll get into in a little bit here. But how did the whole Wellington situation come about? How did you get there, and how did it go for you?
The general manager for the 67s, Jonathan Kiriakou, he before his time in Ottawa, he worked with the Wellington organization. So when they reassigned me there, that's how I got to connect there. Jonathan set me up, and they took care of me in Wellington in sort of a developmental facet. I mean, they went to the bank finals that year, the RBC finals. That was not the same team that I played on in the fall. They had made a lot of changes in between the time that I left and when they went to the finals there. But I mean, Wellington's a weird little city, but I mean, it definitely left its mark on me. I went to a high school there in Picton, and I met two of my best buddies that I still talk to on the daily, Jackson Barrett and Alec Tiley. So if they're listening, shout out to you guys.
Absolutely. And a guy I know that you played with for a bit in your time in Wellington was Jackson Arcan. And he told me to ask you about Joey Lavender and how his presence brings the team together.
Oh my God, Joey Lav, couple orange pops. Joey Lav, man, he's just a guy that you want to be around. He never was not smiling at the rink every day, just happy to be there, and just brought the energy in the room just to a much better place. Even if, you had a bad day at school or didn't sleep or whatever, you weren't having it, didn't want to be at the rink that day, whatever it might have been. Seeing him and just whatever was going on, he'd come up to you with a smile on his face, give you a pat on the back, and it just made everything so much easier to be there.
Now we'll get into your career here in the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League. So the year you were in Wellington, halfway through the year after 7 games, you signed with the Gatineau Olympiques. So take us through the process of how that goes as an OHL draft pick heading over to the QMJHL.
Yeah, it was a little more complicated than I thought it would be. Ottawa had 3 goalies at the time. I did not see myself playing there in the near future. And I kind of made the decision. I just said to myself, like, I want to play Major Junior now. I don't want to wait to see if I can, get into a crack a D1 lineup or something like that in a couple of years. So I decided to get my agent to help me out with that, and he did. He had a couple connections in the queue, a couple teams that said they would have signed me had I not been drafted into the O. So I just kind of sorted through the offers, and Gatineau was the closest to home, and their pitch was the best sounding. So that's where I decided to go. But I had to get released from Ottawa, clear waivers in the O, and then sign with Gatineau, and it took like 2 weeks, I think.
So that season, you and Gatineau, 13 games played. Just take us through the transition of going from the OJ to the Q and how different it was.
It's a lot faster. I know the guys say the jump is serious, and it is. They're not lying. Passes are just so much more crisp. And nothing against the OJ, because I had my struggles there too. I wasn't too hot in that league out of the gate. But, I mean, I had a couple months, not a couple months, about a month of working with the goalie coach in Gatineau one-on-one when the team was playing, and I was just doing my thing back in Gatineau, working out and skating with the goalie coach every day. So I mean, that kind of prepared me. It brought me up to the level I had to be at to start games in that league. And I mean, it sucked. It was a terrible month, just sitting there watching the guys play, not doing anything. But it needed to happen. It was a necessary evil. And yeah, I didn't play that much because my partner was gross. Tristan Berube, he was at the time that I signed with them, he was second statistically in Canada across every stat for a goalie to Carter Hart. So not a big deal.
Absolutely. And so you played with Berube for a few years there in Gatineau. Just talk about the player he is. Signed with the University of Ottawa, played with Gatineau, Drummondville, and Acadie Bathurst, and Rimouski in the queue. So just talk about that a little bit and how great of a guy he was.
Yeah, he was awesome. He really mentored me. He was only a year older than me, but I mean, the word mentor isn't even right. He just kind of showed me the ropes and what to do, how to take care of your body. Yeah, just little tips and tricks that really help in the long run. That I tried to pass down to my partners now as the older guy. Just things that'll help you just get that little bit extra competitive edge. He was awesome when we hung out outside of the rink, not just at the rink. We lived right around the corner from each other, so he was driving me every day when I didn't have a car when I was younger. So yeah, I still talk to him. We still keep up to date on what each other's doing, and sending each other ideas for new setups and masks and stuff like that. So I'm really glad I had a chance to play with him, and he was a very, very, and still is a very good goalie. So.
Now, Gatineau's getting a new rink in the near future next season, whenever that does start for the QMJHL. Just talk about the old barn in Gatineau and how cool it was to play in a barn like that.
The Robert Guertin. I mean, it had seen better days for sure, but just the history and the amount of rings that have been in that arena is insane. You can feel it. I know some guys say they hate playing there, and some guys say playing there just takes them to a next level competitively, because you know that there's been a member passed out there. They've had, I think, 5 President Cups, 4 or 5, maybe more. Might be wrong, but there's just so much history, and it's all around, all on the walls, the banners coming down from the ceiling. Like it's crazy.
Absolutely. A guy that you played with in Gatineau is Connor LePage. And something you had shared was about his mother. So if you just want to talk about that a little bit, Connor, great guy, a former Barrie Colts draft pick here in Ontario, played here a bit before heading out to Gatineau.
Yeah, that was really, really sad when I saw that. Another former teammate of mine had texted me and asked me if I'd heard the news, and I hadn't. He did not deserve that, man. Connor is the nicest guy ever, most genuine guy I've ever played with. Like he wants the best for his friends, and he'll do anything for you. Just sad what happened. Like I didn't know his mother too well. We'd gone out for dinner a couple times together with when my family was up too. But yeah, rest in peace. I was talking to him the other day, and he's pretty beaten up over it. He's not one to share his emotions too much, but I mean, everyone's here for him, and I told him that, and he knows that. So yeah, just a really sad thing.
Yeah, absolutely. We're thinking you and your family, Connor. It's sad, and hopefully you can get through this and continue playing in her honor. And now we'll jump from your time in Gatineau to playing with the Rimouski Oceanic. And for those who don't know, the year that Creed played with Rimouski was one of the years that Alexis Lafreniere was on the team. So going into a new team and having a guy like that on your team who's scoring every single night, sometimes 2-3 points a game, how special is that as a goalie to have that guy in front of you to bail you out sometimes?
Not sometimes. It was 2, 3, or 4, and it was a lot more than every other game. I mean, a lot of people talk about the offense in Rimouski. The defensive structure was what, made my job so easy there. I know people want to look at the stats and compare this and that, but the reality is if I'm getting 20 shots a game from the point in my pads with no screen, I mean, you could put a monkey in net and he could do the same as what I did there. So that's just a testament to the coach, the general manager there, Serge Beausoleil, one of the funniest guys I've ever met in this game. He's got a crazy hockey mind, and he knows how to put a team together. And it's really unfortunate that the season got canceled there because we honestly, all of us thought we had a very good chance of going to the Prez. I mean, it was bigger than hockey, but it just really sucks because we know that we had what it took to take it to the memory.
Absolutely, and that year, Alexis Lafreniere, 35 goals, 77 assists, 112 points in 52 games. So that kind of just sums it up right there for a guy to be putting up numbers like Sidney Crosby did with the exact same organization.
Yep. He, 11's got to go to the rafters soon. I don't know if it's up to him or the team, but he's just a player's player. Like he doesn't take himself too seriously. He knows how good he is. I mean, he's been told by enough people over the years, but he won't tell you himself. Like just a down to earth guy with just an insane ability on the ice. It's really hard to describe. I get that question a lot whenever I go home, skating at home. People are asking, "Oh, where you play? I play in the queue." "Oh, you play against Lafreniere?" Yeah, and they always want to know about him. He was famous long before he went first overall. So he's just a good guy and cool to hang out with outside of the arena, and good guy to be around.
For sure. And now going into this year, obviously with a pandemic, there's been a lot of talk about the QMJHL. You guys have been shut down a number of times. So before we get into that kind of stuff, the off season this year, you were traded from the Rimouski Oceanic to the St. John Sea Dogs. So just talk about how you found that out, who gave you the call, and your thoughts on the trade.
Yeah, so I was actually in Rimouski when I got traded. It happened during training camp. So I had gone back to Rimouski in August to do my quarantine because I was traveling from outside the province of Quebec. So quarantined at my bills for 2 weeks, and I was on the ice for about 5 days of camp. And then we had 5 20-year-olds, and they were trying to trim it down there. They had offers for me, so they took one. That's how it goes. It's part of the business. I didn't expect it. I didn't ask for it. But I'm happy to be in St. John. They take care of us really, really well. And so the GM called me, Serge Beausoleil from Rimouski, and he was sad. You could hear in his voice, like we had a special bond, he and I, always playing pranks on each other at the rink and stuff. But you just, it's part of the game, like I said, and it's part of growing up. You got to just learn to adapt with these things.
Yeah, and now obviously this year with it being COVID, you guys started, got shut down. Take us through how the season has gone for you guys with the Sea Dogs here. Just looking quickly, 15 games played, 5-6-3-1 record for 14 points, sitting 9th overall, in the QMJHL here. So it's been a tough year, but take us through how the year's gone so far.
We all feel like the record doesn't reflect our capabilities as a team. I mean, new head coach, bringing in a new system, a lot of new pieces, a lot of chemistry that hasn't come together yet, that is coming together, some that has come together. I didn't have too great of a start to the year through nobody else's fault but my own. It was it was a rough start, but it came together right before we got postponed at the end of November there. And it's looking up. The practices we have right now, they're going well. I mean, the systems are all set up. Everybody knows what to do, when to do it. We still have a couple new guys. There still might be a few more trades. I don't know. The trade period closed on the 25th, so we'll have to wait and see about that. But as of now, it's just business as usual. We're back every day at the rink now, practicing, working out, just like just all we know how to do.
Absolutely, yeah. And just a couple days ago, some of the games for you guys get canceled again or postponed. So I hear, and just talk about what it's like going to the rink every day now. You're practicing obviously every day, but with the guarantee a few weeks ago of you guys playing again, obviously excitement around the arena, and then for it to be canceled again. So, what's going through your guys' minds there when you hear that news?
Obviously disappointing. I mean, you practice every day, you work out so you can be better in the games because we want to play games. I don't know any hockey player that doesn't like playing games. Um, so it is. I mean, it's frustrating, but you have to expect it now. It's out of our control what happens. The decisions that public health and the governments make. In the Maritimes, it's different because we have multiple provinces. Quebec can get away with what they're doing because it's one province, so they don't have to run it through multiple governments. Multiple. I don't know how that works, but that's way above my pay grade. But I mean, every day our coach just tells us, just we'll deal with the extracurricular stuff. You guys just do what you know how to do on the ice, and we'll go from there. I mean, there's nothing we can change about it, so we're just business as usual.
For sure. And now, during a pandemic, what does a normal game day routine look like for you? Obviously, it might be hard to remember at this point because it's so many months ago, but just take us through a normal game day routine in the world of COVID for hockey in the QMJHL.
Um, Normal game day, usually on the weekends. Wake up. We have a little app that we have to fill out with. It's like a symptom check. So all the questions you get asked if you're getting COVID tested or something like that, you just fill it out, yes or no. If it's a yes, you can't come to the rink, or you get a call to discuss why it's a yes. Fill that out. Wake up. Grab a bite to eat. Go to the rink. Usually we have morning skates. Sometimes it's optional. But we all have to be at the rink, just even if we're not going ice, just hop on the bike for 5 minutes, get the blood flowing, just don't stay in bed until 1 p.m. Um, I'm not a morning person, but I understand that you have to move a little on game day. Go home, grab some lunch, maybe do some school, have a nap, whatever I'm feeling like. And then back to the rink. We play at 7 usually here. Show up just before 5, throw some heating pads on the hips, do video, whatever else we have to do before the game, and then warm up, and then showtime.
Now, taken away from the Q a little bit here, NHL hockey is finally back. We've had a few games here over the last few days. Who's your favorite team, and who are you excited to kind of watch play this year?
I'm not much of a hockey watcher, honestly. I do watch a fair amount of my own video and other teams and players in my league, but I'm not really one to just sit down and watch an NHL game. I do from time to time, if I'm with the guys or something like that. But so I don't have a favorite team. I do have a couple goalies that I like to watch, like Vasilevsky, Blackwood, Price. Obviously, every goalie says Price, but just guys that I try to steal things from and things that I see them do well that other guys might not be doing. So I will turn the TV on and watch those guys play after playing. And there's a lot of young up and coming guys, just Shesterkin and Sorokin, those guys, just crazy athletic goalies that it just always seems like they're ahead of the play. And I like watching that stuff because it shows me, what has to be done and what has to be mastered to get to the next level. So it is good to watch video, not just of yourself.
For sure. And now we'll get into some questions here about some of the teams you've played for and currently are playing for St. John's. So just have some fun with this a little bit. Maybe some guys might get thrown in their bus here. Who knows? But best,
Nothing wrong with that.
best and worst trooper you have played with.
Oh man, it's different because guys are chirping in French and I'm bilingual, but I might not know what they're saying. It's so fast and there's so much slang mixed in there. I have played with a couple chirpy guys. I know Braden Virtue, who actually just got traded from Gatineau to Charlottetown. He's very, very vocal, we'll say. He could not be mic'd up. That would not make it to the air. I haven't really played with that many, like, verbally aggressive guys. Obviously, it happens in the game, but I don't receive many chirps. I just kind of do my thing. I don't throw them out there. I'm a pretty nonchalant guy on the ice. I like to think, just relax out there, not trying to make any enemies. We're all friends.
Yeah, for sure. I think you wouldn't have played with him in St. John's, but Jordan Spatafor, he's got some pretty good ones, I think. Good buddy of mine.
Yep.
I think he's got some good ones there for sure.
Yeah, I played with him in a summer hockey tournament, and he's kind of an underground legend here in St. John. All the guys really miss him. He's another guy that's a player's player. Just a guy that everyone likes to be around.
Yeah, he spends a lot of time with his girlfriend too, so I'm not sure if the boys kind of like that or not, but
that's usually not too popular with the guys. But hey, love is love. Nothing wrong with that.
Exactly. Best and worst style for off ice for guys you've played with.
Oh my God, we could do a whole podcast with this question. Best style, Connor LePage, 100%. That guy, I'm into kind of like the streetwear, like skater brands and stuff like that. And he's got it all. I mean, he has his own store now where he's reselling clothes like Supreme and all that stuff. Like the really like hyped up streetwear brands, and it's actually doing pretty well. So he is definitely the best style that I've seen. The worst style is probably half the guys I've ever played with, because this is not, they make the stereotype for a reason. The majority of French guys dress the same. It's like black ripped jeans with like a striped Guess t-shirt and a backwards, 47 baseball hat. It's it's good style for them, so I can't say anything. And I might have used to dress like that. We're not going to talk about it. So I don't anymore. But that's not my thing. And I definitely will say something to the guys if they show up in those checkerboard piano black and white vans.
Yeah, there's a guy who plays here in Ontario. He's from Czech Republic, Matej Pekar, Barry Colton, Sudbury Wolves player. I had Michael Raskin at the Showbound podcast on episode 1, and he was the media guy in Barry last year. And Pekar went to a golf tournament, the Colts Head, wearing a Hollister sweater and cargo shorts, while the rest of them were wearing golf sweaters, polos, golf pants, everything. And Pekar came with a Hollister sweater and a pair of cargo shorts. So that just kind of shows these Europeans don't know how to dress over here, I guess.
Man, the Euros, I've played with a couple Russians and one Czech and two Swiss guys now. Every Russian dresses the same. They all have the exact same Abercrombie & Fitch jumpsuit. It's red. They all have the same like Guess puffy jacket. It's crazy. They all look the exact same. They might have all been the same person. I don't know. No one checks their birth reports anyways.
All right, now moving on here. Next question is going to be Lafreniere. Obviously, it's got to be talked about. Putting up that many points a night, who were kind of some of the guys that would be out there to kind of protect a guy like that on St. John, on Rimouski last year?
We weren't really much of a fighting team per se, but we were physical. Guys like Mick Martell, guys like Nathan Willett, who's the captain there now. He did have a very talented supporting cast that he obviously made look very good too. But we were just finishing checks. We weren't going head hunting every night, and people knew that if you went off their laugh, it was gonna be the end of your night for sure. So it didn't really go down like that, but we definitely did lay the body, and we definitely did protect our captain, because you have to. When he's the guy, you need him on the ice, not in the penalty box or getting stitched up in the trainer's office.
Absolutely. Now, being a rookie in the QMJHL, it happens out here in the OHL, you get your rookie meal. So how'd that go for you out in Gatineau, and what was the bill, if you can remember, for that night?
We actually didn't. I got lucky. So when I was in Wellington, we were not allowed to have any sort of rookie party or dinner or something like that. And then when I got to Gatineau, it was after they had already done all that. So I lucked out. I got very, very lucky there. I've heard horror stories about bills, and we did do that here this year. The bill was $70 per rookie. We were nice. I mean, there was a lot of leftover pizza and stuff like that, but we had the restaurant to ourselves. We got a Vito's out here. It's kind of like Boston Pizza. We got opened up just for the team, so it was a good time. And there were butter on shoes and songs sung, but it was a good time. But I did not have to do that, thank God.
Got the lucky shoe, I guess, out there in Wellington. They take care of their rookies, make sure none of that stuff happens, I guess.
Yes, sir.
Now, who are some of the favorite guys you've played with over the years? Maybe have made it to the NHL or still are playing in the queue?
Most of my buddies are too old now for the league, because I am old as well now in this league. Feels bad. But Darian Kielb and Gio Finoro. Darian goes to Dow, and Gio goes to Guelph. They're two of my best buddies when I was 18. Connor in there too. Zach Forte. I could go through the list. Guys, obviously James White. I never played with him, but I played with him in minor hockey for 10 years, and then we were opponents in the queue when he was here. He's in Wellington now too, so shout out to him. But yeah, I could go on. Like I've never really had any fights with my teammates about anything serious, and I've just got along with them all for the most part. So here, Liam Leonard, good newfie. I seem to get along with the newfies. Grouchy and Zach Dean and Gatineau are two of my best buddies. So I don't know what that says about me, but I seem to mesh with the newfies pretty well.
Now, this year with the World Juniors in a bubble and everything, 3 QMJHL guys here are actually 4. So Justin Barron, Jordan Spence, Dawson Mercer, and Jacob Pelche. Just talk about playing against those guys if you've had the pleasure in your Q career to do that.
I wouldn't call it a pleasure. More like a nightmare. I mean, those guys are playing in that tournament for a reason. They deserve it. They're one of the top players in the league in Canada. So, I mean, it's good for them. They represented the country well, We were proud of them, the effort they put in. Obviously, every year, anything less than gold is a disappointment and a letdown to the country. But, I mean, I don't see it that way. They battled, and sometimes it's just a better team. So one team has to win, one team has to lose. But yeah, it's those guys specifically. 2 of them now play on the same team. Valdor is loading up this year, and they just got a bunch of those guys. So I'm glad I'm not in that division. That's all I have to say about that.
Now, out in the QMJHL, it seems like after the trade deadline, everyone kind of has their eyes on where they're going to finish in the season, it seems like. So with the World Juniors, a lot of guys from that tournament from the Q seem to kind of get traded after or around the deadline. So is it kind of easy for teams out there to kind of see where you are at that point and kind of know where you need to go in that direction?
Yeah, every year the Christmas break, it seems, is kind of like where the teams, the coaches, the GMs, they sit back and they just assess, what they want out of the season, where they see their team this year and next year and the coming years. I mean, for the players, it's a break. You get to go home, see your family, just get the body back normal again. But for management, it's definitely the time to make moves and decide what you want out of the year. So it happens every year. Guys come back from World Jays or whatever it may be, and they're in a new city. And it's just something you get used to, honestly, after a while. Trades used to be so shocking to me, but now after being traded twice and seeing a bunch of my best buddies get traded and released and cut and stuff like that, I'm kind of numb to it at this point. Like my best buddy Dawson Stairs on this team just got traded yesterday, which sucks. But I mean, it's part of it, and you get used to it after a while.
Now in the queue this year, Charlottetown 12-2 this year. Obviously, looking as the front runners if things do get going here again for everyone. So, have they always been kind of the powerhouse or one of the top teams in the queue out there?
Yeah, they've Charlottetown's weird. They've been consistently like top 5, not winning, but going to the conference finals like consistently since the 4 years that I've been here. This year especially, they're solid. They just traded for a couple really huge players. They got skill, they have size, they got speed. It's good. Like it's good competition. I'm excited to play him again. My boy Colton's on the other side. I know the guys in Rimouski were putting bets. Our old goalie coach putting bets on our first game against each other in September. They're like, "Oh, it's gonna be a 1-0. It's gonna be 2-1. You know, this guy's getting shot." No, they won 6-5. We both led in 5 on 25. Everyone texts after the game, "What were you guys doing? Did you guys like plan this yourselves?" No, but yeah, it's good, and I'm excited to play against him again now that my buddy Braden's playing for them. So. The Maritime Division is definitely a weird one this year. Everyone's beating everyone by every score, and there's no consistency. And I mean, I love it. Any team wins on any night, and that's how it should be.
Yeah, and as you mentioned there, the Maritime Division. Who are the teams you'll be facing when you guys start up again?
Yeah, so this year, you definitely know this. We're only playing within our division, just to limit the travel and the hotel stays, the overnighters. So we're against Charlottetown, Bathurst, Moncton, Cape Breton, and Halifax, and ourselves. So the 6 teams in the Maritimes.
So out of those 6 teams, who is kind of the front runner to kind of win your division so far this year?
Before the season, everyone thought it was going to be us. We still think it's going to be us. I mean, no one's lost hope here. We believe in what we're doing, and we know that we can beat any team in our division on any given night because it's happened. So, yeah, like you said, Charlottetown is good. They're on paper above the rest of the division for sure now, but every team's beating every team. So the parity in this division is pretty wild. Some I've never seen before. So it's exciting every game going in. It's going into games against good teams in the past couple of years, like Rouen when they went to the Memmer, Halifax when they were hosting. It's like, like this is going to be a night, especially for me. You're going to see 50 at least that night. It gets you into the game a little more, but it also it's in the back of your mind like this could get ugly real fast if one little thing happens. But it's not that case this year in our division, so it's exciting going to the rink every night and just feeling completely optimistic about how the game's going to go.
Absolutely, and obviously Moncton being one of the teams in that division with Jordan Spence, who was on the World Junior team this year. Obviously, you got to see him play a little bit in the World Juniors, watching the Canada game. So does that kind of help you a little bit, seeing him play over Christmas break a little bit to kind of see what you got to face when he's back in Moncton?
Yeah, thank God he's not back in Moncton. He's got traded to Val-d'Or. So he's with Pelletier now in Val-d'Or, which makes my life easier. So I'm not opposed to it, but over the years, you get the book on certain guys that stand out, like those two. Their tendencies, what they like to do, where they like to shoot, how they move, what plays they like to throw on the power play, just stuff like that. That's the biggest thing for me about having experience in this league. What I didn't have when I came in is like just a guessing game on everybody, not knowing who people are, what they're capable of. So now I'm a little more relaxed when it comes to that because I've played against them enough to know what they do and who they are. So it's definitely easier being old.
And now being a veteran of the QMJHL, top 3 best rinks and top 3 worst rinks that you've played in?
I'm biased because Rimouski was crazy every night, especially last year. Like we were selling out on Wednesdays, just stuff like that. we famously named it the Laugh Farewell Tour. So towards the end of the regular season, every arena we went to for the last time was sold out like to the brim, just to watch the kid one more time. So it was definitely a crazy end of the year. We had our last game before the season got canceled. It got canceled before the game, but the last game we were supposed to play in Quebec City was his last time there. They had sold 16,000 tickets before the game, like before the day of the game. And they're going to sell more at the gate. So they were going to almost sell out the Videotron Center, which would have been absolutely nuts. But to make a very long answer very short, best arena, Rimouski. I'm biased. The fans there are just crazy. They love hockey. They love their team. They love their players. Halifax has got to be in there. Every game, good or bad team, whether Halifax is strong or weak that year, the fans are there. They're supporting. Lovely arena, great city. The third one, probably Moncton. Definitely Moncton, their new arena. It's just gorgeous. I mean, the bus drives right into the arena, and you're greeted by all the people that work there, and they're helping out with all the stuff. I mean, it's just crazy. The arena's huge. When we were allowed maximum capacity, last time we were there, it was a sellout with Rimouski. So that's definitely the top three for me. Top three worst ones: Baie-Comeau. Terrible setup of the arena. They get fans. It's a small city. They really have just a hockey team and a prison there. That's it. They have a haunted hotel too. We can get into that later if you want, but it's just not. It's so old. Like it's not as old as the Bob and Gatineau, but I know the Bob would be in a lot of guys' top three worst arenas. It was not mine because, like I said, I'm biased. I never liked going to Val d'Or. From Gatineau, it was a terrible road trip, 7.5 hours straight north. You don't have cell service for half the time. You're just like staring at the window, just trees. The arena's not bad. I got to see Roberto Luongo's 16-year-old picture there. That is not him. He looks like a completely different human being. But number three for that would definitely have to be Chicoutimi, because I hate the fans there. The fans chirp more than the players. It's crazy. They'll line up around the visitors' boards around the glass and warm up and just relentlessly attack you with words. And half the time I don't understand what they're saying because like there's zero English there. But I swear to God, some people must learn English strictly to chirp the English guys because they knew what they were doing. They were good at it. So I hated playing there and I loved it. But the thing about playing there is the benches are kind of short. So for the visitors, the backup goalie has to sit beside the bench, which is literally right in front of seats. So the last row of seats and then me where I'm sitting. So like they could be throwing popcorn at me the whole game. No one would say anything. They're just attacking me the whole. I'm like, I'm not even playing, guys. So definitely top three. That'd be it. Yeah.
Now, one of the guys that is coaching out in the queue is Patrick Waugh. So how cool is it to kind of see him out there? And have you been able to play against Quebec City where he's coaching?
Yeah. I played against him a lot of times since he got back there. He's intense. I know I've talked to some of his former goalies, and they say he's intense, to put it nicely. Yeah, I mean, it's got to be tough for him being one of the best goalies of all time and playing with these junior guys. Like, you guys suck. If I were him, that's what I would be saying. I'm like, I am so much better than you guys. How are you this bad? Nothing against the goalies they have there right now. I'm not even quite sure who they have there right now because I don't play against them this year. But yeah, they definitely have a tough life coming to the rink every day and having that shadow cast on you. That would be, I don't know, it'd be a privilege and it'd be a nightmare at the same time every day. So, but he knows hockey better than anyone, and he's been in the game his whole life. He's played at the highest levels. He's won everything there is to win. So I mean, it is an honor to play against him. but it is nice to beat them. That's for sure.
For sure. And a few years ago was obviously your NHL draft year. So were you talking to any teams during the year, and how did that process kind of go for you?
Yeah, that would have been my first year juniors when I was 17. I wish I was a late birthday. Must be nice to have that extra year. But I did talk to a handful of teams. No further discussions, just basic intros and asking me about myself. There are a couple teams that talk to every draft eligible guy, so that's not me flexing about anything. That's every single draft eligible guy, no matter how good you are. If you play in the league, they'll speak to you. So it was cool to meet some of the scouts and talk to them and pick their brains on a few things, but didn't go anything further than that. I only played 13 games that year, so the sample size was too small. I don't know. That's just it. I just didn't play.
Yeah. Were there any weird questions that you remember getting asked by any of the NHL teams?
No, thank God. I did not have my cheat sheet ready, so these are just formalities. These the first few interviews. So I have heard a couple horror stories about some bad questions. I know on the Spit and Chicklets one. I don't know if you listen to that, but who was it? The Chicago first rounder.
Yeah, Doc.
Got grilled by Yzerman.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, I've heard stories like that, and I'm just happy that I didn't have anything like that happen to me.
I know some of my buddies in DL name drop one, Ethan Cardwell. He had one with the Islanders, I believe it was 250 multiple choice questions where they had to do it after the game.
That's no, after the game I want to go home and pass out for about a day and a half. That is not the ideal post-game cool down, that's for sure. But yeah, that's is it just like A, B, C, D, that kind of thing?
I think it was, yeah. So hopefully he said it took him an hour or two after a game, but he was
put down a full-on exam in front of him and said, "Do it. We'll see you in a couple hours."
Yeah, hopefully, I think they won that game because he was in Saginaw at that point. So he was playing with Cole Perfetti, 10th overall by the Winnipeg Jets this year. So they had a good team out there. So I think he won, and he said he scored that game. So he was kind of happy to be winning the game and then sitting down and answering a couple hundred questions for the New York Islanders.
Yeah, that would be at least you scored. That makes you feel good about yourself. The first team that I talked to, I'm not going to say who it was, but I didn't even play that game. I was on the bench that game, and they asked for me after the game, and I was like, I didn't play, right? They're like, yeah. Okay.
You're just sitting there like, oh, I'm talking to an NHL team after the game now. Like,
yeah, I'm like, Berube played really well tonight. I know it's not his draft year, but I mean, he's right over there. They're like, no, we're talking to you. It's your draft year. I'm like, I did not play. You didn't even watch me play a game.
You have like a couple of girls come watch you from like high school, and you're like, hey, I talked to an NHL team, and I was sitting on the bench all game. Like, they came to see
Yeah.
me.
Yeah, it's a good flex. That's nice to keep in the back pocket.
For sure. Now, best and worst road trip in the QMJHL. Obviously, there's a lot of teams that are spread out pretty far, and being on the East Coast out there in St. John's now, you've got to go pretty far for some of those, I bet.
Yeah. Luckily not doing that this year. Worst road trip was probably Gatineau to Cape Breton, 16 on a bus. That was a nightmare. We usually did that overnight too, so we'd leave at like 11 p.m. You'd wake up in Nova Scotia. It was, I don't know, a lot of uncomfortable sleeping bag rolls there. Best one, Gatineau to Blainville or St. John to Moncton. They're both about an hour. Yeah. So you get to do a morning skate that day too, and you're playing a road game. It's kind of funny. But yeah, no, there are a lot of bad road trips. I heard Rimouski to Rouyn-Noranda, which is like by Val-d'Or, is like 20-something hours, like 22 hours. I never had to do that one, thank God. But yeah, this league is definitely a little too spread out for my liking.
Now, who has the best taste and worst taste in music on the St. John Sea Dogs this year?
worst taste is hard to tell if you don't drive around with the guy or listen to his music in the room. We have a couple guys that are on the music. Myself, Chris Ennis, who I was with in Rimouski, who I'm with now in St. John, and Liam Leonard, the other 20 here. We just kind of alternate. I'm not much of a country guy, so Lenny's on the country in the morning. I'm on the pregame music, and same with Nick Girouard here. He's got the good pregame tunes. So those are the guys who have the good tunes. Bad, I don't want to know.
I'm sure there are probably a couple out there that listen to some stuff that.
Oh, definitely, but they're just not telling us about because if we found out, that's bad news for them.
Yeah, they got their phones hidden in the room. Can't go on.
Exactly. Why don't you throw your phone on? You're complaining. No. Okay, stop talking.
For sure. Now, obviously, those road trips are hard sometimes with the longer ones. So how do you guys keep occupied on the bus?
Oh, there's a plethora of ways you can have fun in a 8x12. Yeah. I mean, when I was a rookie, I had to sit with somebody. You had to be two to a seat. You didn't get your own, little pair of seats on the coach bus. So he's right there. You can talk to him. I was with Carson Gallant, a good buddy of mine. He played in St. John too. He's not in the league anymore, but he's a funny guy. Those Halifax guys, they're kind of built differently in the brain. But you can play cards. You can just talk about whatever, listen to music, Netflix, books, whatever you want. Sleep is a big one. A lot of guys do that, depending on how long the road trip is. But I'm just used to it by now. I've wiped Netflix clean of everything there is to watch that's good and what's bad. I'm a reader. I like to read autobiographies and stuff. Jay Onright's book I just read, crazy good. I don't know if you're a rap fan, but Gucci Mane's book I just finished. It's funny. It's a tell-all for sure. And Elon Musk's one too. Those are my top three that I just did, and they're all really good, really interesting. I like to read about successful people, no matter what what they do for their business or their work. It's just interesting to see what they have to say and their path to get where they got to.
And I'm sure you'll probably start writing the success story of Alexis Lafreniere soon, eh?
Yeah, we'll see that soon. I won't be the one writing it, but they're going to want to read about that for sure. That guy's definitely got a few stories he'll be able to tell by the end of his career.
Now, a couple of my buddies that have played for St. John's the last couple of years aren't there this year, obviously, but I got to give them a shout out. Jordan Spatafort and Patrick Musico. Those two kind of blew TikTok up a little bit for the Sea Dogs last year. Kind of went viral on a couple of videos.
Oh man,
I'm not sure if any of the guys this year are still there that were there in those videos, but some of them were pretty funny.
Yeah, they probably were. I mean, they've got the same kind of core group they had here. They had a bunch of high draft picks a couple years ago. So our 02 and 03 group is kind of the majority of the lineup. But there were definitely a few guys there for that. And there were definitely things said to those guys on the ice when I was their opponent about said videos.
Yeah, I'm sure they took some heat going viral on TikTok, being a junior hockey.
You gotta expect it.
Yeah.
There's a guy who's making TikToks in quarantine. One of the Moncton players. You heard about it. A day in the life. It's just like him riding the bike and eating out of a takeout box. Like, bro, why are you posting?
There's a guy in Saginaw, Davis T-Bone Cotty, loves the TikTok dances. Cole Perfetti and Ethan Cardwell would attest to that because they played with him. But he was a rookie in Saginaw this year with the Spirit, and he's huge into TikTok. So go blow his TikTok up a little bit and see if he gets famous. I'm sure the old guys have a few chirps because there is some good guys in that league that can chirp for sure.
There's some guys who can chirp in our league too, but if he's a rookie doing that, man, that's bold. Good on him. I respect it. That's aggressive.
Now, being here from Ontario, out in Peterborough, who was your kind of OHL team growing up, if you had one? Obviously, being in Peterborough, you have the Petes, who have that historic, terrible building with the square corners, but they got a long history, obviously.
Oh man, those corners caused me a lot of bad memories. That wasn't the rink we mainly played out of in minor hockey, but yeah, we played there enough. But when I thought I was going to be playing in the OHL, that was then a bonus for me because I knew how to. If I was, the away team coming into that rink, I already knew that rink. So sadly, it's not going to happen. Me playing at home, it's whatever. The Petes were definitely my team growing up, and the Lakers too. The lacrosse team there in the summer. My family's a huge sports family. My dad used to be a goalie. My mom's family was all into sports, so they always took us to the Petes and the Lakers games every winter and summer. It's just cool. As a kid, they always look so big. You're like, I'm watching this when I'm in like Adam. I'm like, this is unattainable. I will never. And now I'm doing it, and it's just like normal to me. So it's crazy how far I've come, even just growing into what I thought I would never be able to do. But the only problem there is that I was looking up at Jason Mission, the goalie for the Petes, when I was about 8 years old, and this guy's 6'7", so I'm like, yeah, that is unattainable.
Now, obviously, the Petes have a historic team, been around for years. That barn is awesome to be at, watch a game in. Obviously, growing up, going to Pete's games, and now playing in the queue, how special is it for you to kind of see that kids are now looking up to you a little bit like you did as a kid, looking up to those Pete's players?
It's extremely humbling. Obviously, anytime somebody asks for a signature, it's like you feel like the most important person in the world, and it never gets old. And I'll never not sign a kid's jersey or hat or whatever it may be, mini stick, anything, because I was once that kid. And I mean, it's 2 seconds out of your day. It's nothing, and it means the world to them. It meant the world to me as a kid. My neighbors growing up across the street were billets at one time, and so they had a couple guys living there. And I'll never forget this. One day I was outside playing street hockey, and they just walked over and started playing with me. Like, you guys got a couple extra sticks? I was like, yeah. It was the craziest thing. I still got the picture in my room at home, like little me with the street hockey pads on and the mask. It's like makeshift like baseball catcher chest pad I was wearing. It was definitely some not good style, but I was 7, so give me a break. But yeah, it's things like that just remind me, like, the next generation is going to be here soon enough, and you want them to treat the other kids, or the kids that are going to be looking to them, like you got treated by the guys that you were looking up to. So I think it's the same thing as, being respectful to rookies. I know there's a lot been going on in the media about rookie hazing and stuff like that. And obviously, being a rookie, you have your duties like picking up the pucks and packing the bus and stuff. But I got really lucky. Like I had vets like Arcan and Wellington that were just complete beauties to us, like the nicest guys they could be. There's a lot of really mean vets just because they've been in the league for whatever how many years, and they think that validates them being an asshole, but it doesn't. I don't know if I'm allowed to swear in here, sorry, but
Yeah.
We try to be everywhere I've played. I've just had such good vets, so that's what I try to be to the younger guys, and so that they're the same to their younger guys when they're older.
Absolutely. Well, we've taken enough of your time today, Creed. We thank you for coming on and wish you the best of luck when the Sea Dogs get going here again shortly in the QMJHL. Go out, win a President's Cup, and make Brad Bricknell and the Cal Midget team proud.
That's the plan. I still owe Bricks and Sticks, so I got to text him. Thanks for reminding me. Thanks for having me on, man. I had a really good time.